What is going on, everybody? Today we are doing what is called the wholesaling real estate ring. We're about to pick up that phone. We're going to ring some people. We're going to call some sellers live so you can see what it looks like to call sellers and see if we're even legit, right? Because maybe you don't even know who I am, Nathan Payne, and you probably don't know who Lane Peterson is. Well, Lane, before we get into like what we're going to be doing and diving deeper, Lane, tell us a little bit about who you are. Who are you, and why should we be listening to you call sellers?
Hey, I appreciate it. And I love this. I love this idea. I've been talking about it. You and I have been going back and forth about why don't we just turn a camera on and do what we do, right? I've been wholesaling since 2009. Right before that, I was building homes, and then the market crashed. And then I went down to the trustee sale, down to the courthouse steps, and cut my teeth there buying distressed real estate. And I've been doing it ever since. And I've been doing direct to seller type marketing for about 12 years now.
So we should be listening to you because you actually do it. It's not like something you did 10 years ago. You do it every day.
Every day, yeah. We're talking to sellers, and every seller has a different scenario, right? And that's why when you and I were talking the other day, I'm like, dude, let's just jump on calls, just talk with sellers like we do every single day. And then we can dissect the phone call. We can see how, what we did right, what we did wrong, what was good about it. And then people can kind of see, hey, this is kind of how you navigate talking with sellers. My number one goal is to help people, because those people, the way that I do my marketing, those are inbound leads, right? So they are contacting me for some reason to sell their home. And so I try to maximize every possibility or every scenario to be able to help them, right? I like to load my tool belt up with every single tool to be able to help that homeowner. Whether
you don't want to be a one-trick pony. You don't want to just offer a low cash offer and be done.
You can make cash offers all day long, right? And a lot of times, cash offer is not the right solution for that homeowner.
Right.
And then you're just trying to manipulate and play tricks and trying to convince them to sell it to you cash. Or there's also novations, where you take it and go help them take it and sell it retail on the MLS.
I love it. For everybody, that's Lane. For me, if you don't know who I am, my name's Nathan Payne. I've been doing this. I haven't been doing this since 2009, bro. I was in high school in 2009. But hey, it's all good, bro. That's why we get together. You got tons of experience. I've been doing this for about 6 years. And before I got into this, I was doing door-to-door sales, and I love just talking to people. I love talking to sellers, figuring out how we can help them. So my style of doing sales, just like yours, it's looking for the solution that meets the seller's needs. It's never pushing a cash offer on someone, pushing it and hoping they take it. We got to find out what they want, what their situation is, and then what's the option that works best for them. So I'm excited to do this. And guys, our promise today on this call and our weekly calls, because we're going to make this a weekly thing. We keep getting the support and the love from you guys. And our promise is to show you exactly our sales process. We're not here to fluff it up and just talk the whole time, just me and you. We're really going to make some calls. You guys are going to see what we do. We're going to educate you guys. We're going to write down the rules of what's the first thing you do when you call, right? What's the first thing? It's obviously picking up the phone, but we're going to go deeper into that. Like, how do you address the conversation? We're going to go into that, right? I'm going to be writing while Lane calls, and I'm going to call, and he's going to be, typing stuff out. So that's our promise to you guys, that you're going to get better at sales. Because Lane, tell me, is this true or not? This is a sales game too. It's a marketing game, but you need to be good on that phone.
If you're in the wholesale business, it's marketing and sales. That is the type of business that you have.
That's it.
People like this. People like to say I'm a real estate investor when I'm wholesaling, but no, you're not. You're marketing and you're sales. Now, is that a phenomenal avenue to get into real estate and start buying real estate? Yes, 100%. I think that's the best way to get into real estate, is start wholesaling. But as a wholesaler, you are marketing and sales. And what I like to say is you are a problem solver. You're making dreams come true. You're helping people.
Yeah, or helping them out of nightmares.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah.
They can be in some tough spots.
Problems.
So what you guys can expect, this is the plan for the call today. Okay. So what you can expect today is we're going to be making some live calls. We're going to be dissecting some deals that Lane has. I'll be talking about a deal that I have right now that I'm potentially going to be making 90K on, which is nuts, but we're going to be dissecting stuff like that. So that is the plan. That's what you can expect. And why should you listen to us again? It's because we do this every day. We're not just out here trying to educate and not do the business. We do the business, and we want to help you guys do more deals, because we also know that we can do more deals together. If you guys have opportunities that you're like, man, I don't know what to do, we can help you do deals. That's another thing that comes from doing calls like this. And that's why I have the Painless Flipping Academy that, you can see at the bottom. That's why we want to help you guys do more deals so we can do more deals all together. So Blaine, without further ado, is there anything you got to say before we dive into your first deal, and we can dive right in and chat about it? Anything you want to say?
I've got quite a few leads that need to be called, and I can kind of give you a brief explanation of the type of lead, because I do multiple strategies. I do a lot of PPC, which is pay per click, right? Your Google ads that you're paying Google. Somebody searches, I want to sell my house fast, they find you. So I have PPC. I also have PPL, which is pay per lead. There's companies out there, they're third-party companies that are doing all the advertising for you, and then when they get a lead, they sell it. I currently, right now, I'm using a lot of LeadZolo. LeadZolo is they've
fire,
proven
huh?
to me to be, yeah, they've been great. They've just been the best leads. They're 100% exclusive, and they've proven to me to be the best type of leads. And then we also do a little bit of cold calling and a lot of JV stuff.
I love it. Exactly. JV. So, obviously, if you guys even bring deals to these calls, we can probably walk you through them and do some deals that way.
This first lead that I have, it's actually came in from my cold calling marketing strategy. And I have VAs that do all the cold calling up front, right? They do all the initial call. And if someone says they're interested at all, they send it over to me.
Where are your VAs located? Where are they from? I know a lot of people would probably want to know that.
Yeah, they're all in the Philippines.
Philippines? Okay. And let's talk about that first lead. So you got this one from your cold calling. Let's talk about it.
And there's not everything that you and I agree on, Nathan, on our best practices. You may do something before you make a call. What I like to do is, while I'm calling them, or I even have it pulled up before I make the phone call, is where I live and where I have an office is in Arizona. So if it's an Arizona office, I have access to the MLS. But if it's somewhere outside, because I do a lot of virtual wholesaling, I'm in markets across the entire United States. And what I will do is I'll have Redfin, Zillow, and Realtor.com pulled up with the address on it. And I'll take the average of those three. You're most likely pretty spot on with what that home is worth. So I like to do that, as I'm talking to them and as, we're having a conversation. But this one here is in Arizona. So I'm going to go ahead and call Jose Castaneda.
Jose, let's call him.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
I call him 3 times back to back to back.
That's right. That's right. I was going to say, let's address that when they don't answer. What do you do? 3 times.
And then I move them over in my CRM, and they get a text message from me.
What CRM are you using?
Right now I'm on Go High Level.
Popcorn, everyone. Lane's crushing it.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
Well, we got to get him on the phone to crush it. One more time. Come on, Jose.
Third time's a charm, people. Let's go. Let's root for him.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
Okay, no dice.
It's all good. This is what happens.
So what I do is I'm going to send him an immediate text message right now. Basically says, hey, Miguel, it's Lane. I'm calling you about your property on Riverside Road. Sorry, I missed you. Please let me know when a good time to call back is, or you can give me a call back at this number.
All right, let's go through this process, because this is good for people.
He's already talked to my VA, so this isn't 100% a cold call.
Okay, so let's talk about this process. You're calling him. He doesn't answer. You call 3 times. 3 times, everybody. And if he doesn't, you move him over in your CRM. He automatically gets a text. And what does the text say?
I'll read it word for word. I just sent it.
Read it word for word, but I'll write the gist.
Yeah, these campaigns they're already built out in my CRM. So as soon as I move them over into that next bucket, it says, hey, this is Lane. Just tried calling about your property on 123 Main Street, Tolleson, Arizona, but I wasn't able to reach you. Let me know when a good time would be to talk.
So pretty much I just called you. When would be a good time to talk? Pretty much, right?
Yep.
All right. You send that SMS text everybody right after you call 3 times. Did you leave a voicemail, or you don't mess with the voicemail?
No. So I will leave them in this bucket. They got that text message. I'll leave them for 3 or 4 hours, and I will call 3 more times, back to back to back.
When do you call another 3 times? When do you call another 3 times? Like in another hour or a couple hours, or what?
3-4 hours, depending on the time of the day.
All right, everybody.
So then if they don't answer that time, I'm going to move them over to my next bucket in my CRM, and they're going to get a ringless voicemail and another text message.
I love it. So you're really trying to get a hold of this guy as much as you can. That's the goal here.
Yeah. If this was an inbound lead that someone had filled out a web form on my PPC or my Google Ads,
Okay.
it is super important. Speed to lead is super important. The longer that lead sits in your CRM or sits there uncalled, the colder it's going to get. So we try and get to ours within 60 seconds.
Amazing. And that's everybody you need. If you're going to be paying for leads, it's like he's saying, speed is the key. Or I'm calling it and they might already be able to be like, well, I don't want to talk to any more people. I just want to get it done. There it is, guys. So far, call 3 times. If they don't answer, you're going to send a text saying, hey, when would you be a good time to talk? And then Lane's calling in another 3 hours, the 3 process again. I call it I do the same thing. It's called the 3-piece combo. Call 3 times, leave a voicemail, a text. I even send an email too, if I have their email.
Yeah, that is part of ours. We do it if we have their email, that's going out within in the second bucket.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about that guy. If you were to call him, did you already kind of know what you're going to pitch, or were you just going to kind of flow?
So I have a little bit of information from my cold caller. Now, cold calling are outbound leads, right? Those leads are a lot more difficult to close because you're calling them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a lot more time to work those leads, and it's just a little bit of a different conversation. That's what I call, you have your outbound leads and your inbound leads. Your outbound leads, they kind of control the conversation because you're the one calling them, right? So if you're trying to talk price, they can say, hey, I don't know, you're calling me. Whereas if it's an inbound lead, the conversation kind of changes. And if you ask price, it goes over a little bit more because it's like, wait a minute, you're the one calling me. So
exactly,
the conversations change a little bit, but
that's just how it goes.
That conversation would be discovery. The first thing on that call is discovery. Try and find out those 4 pillars of wholesale, right? Which is price, motivation, timing, and condition.
So you're saying the first call is a discovery call. That's pretty much it. Now, does your VA, do you let them do the discovery, or is it more of like, you just give me someone wants to sell, let me talk to them?
They do a little bit, but it's not nearly as deep just because it's more of just gathering the information. The VA is just trying to find out if they're interested in selling or not. If there's even remotely a pulse, they drop it over to my team, and then that's when we start calling.
And give me those 4 pillars again on that discovery call.
Right, we got motivation, timing or timeline, and condition.
So, Lane, I want to give a situation that I have right now. So I have a seller that wants to sell her house ASAP. The price was important, right? But we all know that price to everybody is important, right? They want the most they can get. But what was going on was the motivation was really high and the timeline was really fast. The condition was fine. There was no problem with the condition. It's a brand new house. These 2 things, if you have these 2 things, that's like a cash deal, right? They really want to sell fast and they're really motivated. It doesn't matter in this situation if the house is terrible, because we know that if they want to sell ASAP, putting it on the MLS usually is going to take time. Sub 2, it can work, but usually we just go cash. I mean, sub 2 could work, right? So this deal that I have, lady has a great house, wants to sell, getting divorced, wants to sell ASAP, be out of the situation. And because of the situation, we're able to make, sell for cash. And that's what we're looking for. So Lane, when you're talking to sellers, a light goes off, right? When you're talking to someone, they're like, hey, my house is fine. I want a lot, but I need to sell ASAP. And I really motivated. You probably don't really care so much about the house at that point, right? Like the condition.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I think one of the most important part of that pillar is motivation.
Right.
But when you're trying to discover what the pain is, right? Why are they calling you? If it's an inbound lead, there's a reason why they're calling you. There's something going on. And to get that information out of them is it takes some finesse, it takes some talking, because once you know what that pain is, now you know how to solve it, right? Now you can roll into truly helping that individual. And, a lot of times a cash offer, quick, easy cash, that does solve their issue. Right. And then a lot of times it's not that, they can go the novation route because they have more time and they need a lot more money out of it to help grandma in assisted living or whatever it is, So that's what's so important to know all those tools.
Right. You need to know all these because sometimes they'll be really motivated. Like you're saying, they'll have that timeline. You'll tell them the cash price that's necessary to make a deal happen. Then they're like, I can wait a little bit and I'm not that motivated. I can wait.
Yeah, exactly. People don't need to get overwhelmed that maybe they don't know all these strategies at first, right? You're getting in it and the only thing you know is cash offer. That's completely fine. If you have situations that your cash offer isn't working, but you know that if they had more time and they got a little bit more money, you could get a deal done. that's when, hey, find me, find you. Let's get on the phone with them, and I'll help you do it. I'll help you take that to the finish line on an ovation route or a sub 2 route, and then we'll just JV, and that way you're not just throwing these leads out the window that don't fit the cash bucket, the cash offer.
Man, I freaking love it, dude. So let's make it. You got another one in the pipeline we can give a call?
Yeah, this one, let's see.
So this guy Francisco calls me yesterday. He Googled sell my house cash. I got to be done, fast. Whatever he searched, he found my platform, filled out a web form. It dropped into my CRM. I called him and had a conversation with him. Explained to me he had to bounce job. Can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was a job. And he's just like, bro, I need this thing gone. He's like, I'll take $290. That was what he told me, like in my web form, right? He filled that out and told me right from the get go. But it's a nice house. Like he put some money in this thing. And he's already moved out. So now he's sitting on a payment that he doesn't like. He's already where he needs to be. And I look at it and I just have a very direct conversation with him. And I said, Francisco, you're listed at 340 and it's not selling. So a cash offer of 290, it won't work. Like that's too close to what you're listed for, because if I go and pay 290, I mean, I might not end up selling this thing because 340 obviously isn't getting it done. Is it going to take 300?
Yeah, there's no spread there.
Then I'm really losing. I said, so like, what's a realistic number that you could do? He's like, I still owe 235. I said, okay. I said, well, yeah. So instead of taking a huge haircut, have you ever considered selling your home on terms? He's like, well, what's that? What's terms? I said, well, basically you sell it to me for a price. Let's say I'll pay you full price. I'll pay you $340,000. I'm going to give you a little bit of a down payment. And then the remaining balance, I'm going to pay you out over time. That way you don't take a huge haircut right now by selling it cash. You're going to make a lot more. And we figure out what works for everybody, works for you, works for me on that time frame that I pay you out over time.
Right.
Your mortgage is going to stay in place. His mortgage is $235,000 at 3%. I said that's going to stay in place. And so the difference between 340 and 235 is $105,000. I said, I'm going to give you $20,000 down. So you're going to carry a second for $85,000. We'll work out a payment that works for me and works for you. I'll pay it. And then I always try and do a 10-year term. So
always, right? You don't want to go too short.
I said, I'll make payments on this for 10 years. And then at year 10, I have to pay you off the entire balance. He's like, dude, I'm down with that. Like that works. It gives me some cash and I sell it for the higher price. And he's like, I'm totally down with that. He said, but, and I'm like, oh boy, what?
Oh, what's the but?
He's like, my insurance went way up. And so my payment on this thing is $2,000 a month. I was like, what? And I said,
is it cash?
You only have a $235,000 mortgage at 3%. You should not be $2,000 payment.
Yeah, he's got to get a new insurance company.
It's the homeowner's insurance. The homeowner's insurance, he apparently had a lapse in homeowner's insurance, which I don't know how he did because the lender's the one that makes sure you have it. So he had a lapse in homeowner's insurance and the lender put on what's called it's a force policy. And it's a very... it's double. It's more than double what it would be on a normal policy. So I dug around a little bit and found out that you can get rid of those. You can go find normal homeowners insurance and get rid of that. He just hasn't done it. He's been too just caught up with life and problems. And so he just hasn't done it.
So you're telling me you're solving a problem here. This sounds like a problem you found and you're solving it.
Exactly. So he has $2,000 a month. If you get normal homeowners insurance on it, it'll be $1,700.
Okay, and what is Zillow saying that the potential rent estimate is in that area? Just because I'm assuming you would rent it or sell it on a wrap, right?
So what I always have Zillow pulled up, and when I click at it,
still with
definitely hold this and rent it.
Okay, you'll rent it. Okay,
or you wholesale it because you can wholesale sub 2 deals.
Of course, yeah, on a wrap, right?
And you can go and wholesale it to somebody with more. Basically, you're selling it for more than what your down payment is, your total entry fee. And you throw a wholesale fee on there and it can still make good sense for an investor. I think, okay. Yeah. So I had comps at $2,500 a month and $3,000 a month because this house is big. It's 3,100 square feet. It's got a full basement in it.
That's a big house. Yeah.
Even at $2,000 a month, the deal works, but it even makes it better when you get normal homeowners insurance on it and you're able to only have it $1,700 a month. So in my $600 a month in rent, and all in on his payment, you're $2,000. That's PITI, right? Principal, interest, taxes, and so
insurance. Yep. Lane, can I do something super quick? I want to share the screen with people just so they know that this is why it wouldn't work for a wholesale deal. So just so everyone understands the numbers behind wholesale, cash offers. Lane, you said that he's trying to sell for 340 on the MLS.
yeah,
and it's
he's
not
got no
moving at
offers.
340. So that
Right.
means it's not going to sell at 340. So let's actually just say it's worth like 320 potentially, right? And at 290, if we were to get it for what he was kind of wanting at 290, after paying, if you're going to flip it, if you paid insurance, interest, got hard money, it took maybe 2 or 3 months. Maybe you just clean up a little bit, fix a bathroom or so. You don't put too much money into it. You want to make 5K, you put 5K into it, and you want to make a 10K wholesale fee. You look at the numbers, and if you bought a house at 290, trying to resell it for like 320, 330, you're losing money. So really, like when a cash offer, for it to make sense, you have to get it at quite a discount. That's why you're looking for people who, are motivated. The house needs to be, has quite a bit of distress, like you need to fix it up. So anyway, Lane, I just want to show everybody that like for cash offers, got to be considerably a lot lower. But in this situation, because it is livable, you can definitely do a sub 2 deal, and the interest rate's low.
Exactly. So I want to get Francisco on the phone right now.
Let's call him, brother.
So I have not presented him a deal yet. I've talked to him about the problems of his high payment. It makes it a little bit more difficult on the sub 2, but I'm going to call and just kind of walk through this scenario with him and then see where we end up. I mean, I'm going to end up making him an offer right now. If we can agree on it, I'll get the paperwork over to him today.
I love it. You're going to call him right now.
Francisco, hey, it's Lane again. How are you doing?
How are you?
Good. Hey, did I catch you at a good time?
It's cool. You can ring me real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just hearing a lot of background noise. I can't hear you very well.
Okay. In that case, I guess I'll call you back because I am at a graduation.
Okay. Well, I can hear you pretty good now. Is it okay if we have a conversation real quick?
Yeah, we can have a talk.
Okay.
As long as you can hear me, I can hear you.
I can. Hey, Francisco. All right. So, I'm looking at your house and comping it out, and because you're listed at 340, I just think that, my cash offer is going to be well below what your payoff is, because your payoff is at 235. And, I don't know what it's going to take to get your home sold, because obviously 340's not doing the trick. And so I don't know if that's going to end up having to be 320 or even 300. And so I think that, anybody that is going to give
What are you looking at then?
on a cash offer,
Yeah, on the cash offer.
Honestly, I don't even think it's worth talking about, because I don't want to offend you, and it's going to be well below your payoff. But it would be around like 205,000.
Yeah.
So obviously,
The only option we have.
no. Remember we talked about selling it on terms.
Yeah.
So this is what I can do, even though your payment's a little high for what it should be because of the insurance. So if we have to leave that insurance in place, what I can do is I can give you a much higher purchase price. I can come in with a little bit of a down payment, right? And then I'm gonna be responsible for making the payments on your loan. So that'll come off of your plate. And then the purchase price that I could do is basically, I can do what you have it listed for. And so then that difference between your mortgage and the 340, we would just have to put a term on that. And the term that we would want is about 10 years.
Okay, and how much would you have the numbers up already, or are we just talking like numbers right now?
No, what I can do,
On paper,
what I can do is I can come in with $20,000 down. So at closing, you get $20,000, right? And so that would leave a balance of $105,000 that I would owe you. And we would put a 10-year term on that. Every month I would make the payments to your, to your bank and to your mortgage company. And then I would also pay you an additional payment each month for the next 10 years. And then at year 10, the balance is due in full.
fine with that. Just with the title and all that, still be under my name, or would everything go under your name?
So the mortgage stays in your name. There's two different things when you sell a house, right? There's a deed of trust and there's also a title. So you're going to sell your home and I'm going to take title to it subject to your loan staying in place. So the deed is going to stay in place and that deed is going to remain in your name.
Okay, because I was researching, like, if something happens on your end, I'm still liable for that, right?
100%. And our paperwork is ironclad to protect you and to protect us. Every time we buy a home subject to, it is serviced with a professional servicing company, and we have an accelerated deed that we both sign. So if I ever go late or something happens, that home can immediately revert back to you and you get the home back without having to go through the foreclosure process, without having to do anything like that.
Okay, I see. And okay, yeah, I like that. If anything happens, then we talk further.
100%. What I want to do, Francisco, what I want to do is I want to verify I have your email correct, which is Francisco. So what I'll do is I'll email you the paperwork. You can take a look at it. We can jump on another phone call if you need to. We can go through any questions that you have, and then we can move forward and get this thing off your plate.
Okay, that works. If you need me to, I can also send you my email just to make sure everything is written out correctly.
Yeah, if you want to text it to me right now just to double verify that I have it right, that'd be great.
Okay, that works.
All right, you'll have this contract within the next hour.
That works. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Francisco. Enjoy that graduation.
Okay, appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bam, first call, baby. Let's go.
Did we just get a deal?
I think we just got a deal, baby. Everybody live. Let's go.
Dude, I think we just got a deal.
Wait,
I think we just got a deal. Hey,
I think we just my man is down. My man is down for that.
so here is what my plan is with this property, just so everybody knows. I
We got some
am
good
100%. I'm
Sorry, Lane, we got some good
100%.
questions coming in, by the way. Sorry, I'm just saying
Okay.
people are giving you a shout out.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, everybody. But I'll just tell you real quick, if it is not in my backyard market, which is Phoenix, Arizona, I'm wholesaling everything. So I've already run my numbers and I know what the market is for investors buying sub 2 deals. And so me coming in with a $20,000 down payment, that's less than 10% of ARV. I know I can go sell that for close to 20% of ARV. Because if you look at it, an investor that is going to buy it, the cash flow's there. They have a 3% interest rate, which I may never see that interest rate come back in my life. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that is an asset. And so for them to get that with less than 20% down on a property, investors love it. So I think, in my opinion, I think that I'm going to be able to wholesale that thing for close to $50,000, $60,000 entry fee.
That means you make 40 because you're giving him 20.
Correct. If I get 60, I might go a little bit lower just to make it more enticing and a better deal for one of my investors.
And by the way, everyone, the way this works is if Lane gives what's this guy's name?
Francisco.
So if you give Francisco 320 purchase price with 20K down and you want to wholesale to someone, you would have to increase the purchase price by your wholesale fee, the down that you're going to add on top of his down. So for example, if you're giving him 20K down at 320 and you want to make 20K, you would sell it to an investor for 340 because you're adding 20K to the purchase price and you would increase the down by 20K. That's how we get paid when we wholesale subject to deals, is by increasing the purchase price and increasing the down. All right. For everybody that doesn't know how to do that. So there's a couple questions that came through. Elaine, do you mind if I rattle them off and you answer?
Nope. Let's go.
So this is one that I had. Are you planning on just taking his payments over for 10 years and giving him anything additional, like a nugget on top? Or are you just going to say, hey, here's 20K, you're going to get a payoff in 10 years? What was your plan on that?
So if you noticed, I did say that, but I didn't give him an amount right now because
of course.
I want to make sure 100% I can get better homeowners insurance on it. If I can't lower that $2,000 a month payment, there's not a whole lot that I can pay him. I can probably afford to pay him about $100, $150 a month. So that would put my all in at $2,150 a month. And then I'm renting it for $2,500. And people look at that, they're like, oh, you're making $400 a month. Well, no, you're not. Once you factor in vacancies, maintenance,
management,
turnover. Yeah, 8% management fee. There's really not a whole lot of cash flow here. But a savvy investor, someone that's trying to build wealth, they love it because they can buy that asset for $50,000 entry fee, and then they can depreciate it on their taxes. And then also it's going to appreciate while they hold it. That's how
Yeah,
the
you're
wealth
not-
get wealth. It's not on the cash
Yeah,
flow.
Yeah, in 10 years, you don't think that thing's gonna be way more worth more than 320? I love it.
Plus, if you notice as well, I did not tell him an interest rate on his $105,000. So all of my payments, whatever I pay him, are 100% going to principal. And I'm paying down his mortgage. And so at year 10, just so everybody knows, he is due in full, not his mortgage. His mortgage is going to stay in place for 30 years. Only his $105,000, his second, that's what's due in full at year 10. So at year 10, whatever that balance is, whatever I've been paying him, it's been chipping it down. Now all I got to do is I got to go refinance and then cash him out for whatever that balance is, or leave that loan in place and go get a second, cash him out, right? I probably never want to refinance that first because it's a 3%.
No, keep that. Next question. What happens on a due on sale clause? What do you do, Lane?
So those are tricky. Because it's never happened to me. Just so I've just put that out there. It's never happened to me. But if it does happen to me, you do a deed in lieu back to the homeowner, and then you try and just reverse it, right? You do a deed in lieu, and then you do a land contract.
Contract for deed, land contract, any
Contract
of those, right?
for deed. Then it goes back into their name, but then you do a contract for deed, which you're still buying it. It just takes the title out of your name.
Which there's always ways to get around it, guys. That's why when they're saying they're going to outlaw the assignment, it's like, well, there's going to be lots of different ways we can get around it. We can do trust. We can do it through LLCs. We can do double closes. You ain't stopping us. We're savvy. We're going to figure it out. All right. Next question. I had someone ask about the calculator. Guys, anything that I'm using in these calls, it's in the academy, and you guys can all check it out. And there's a 15-day guarantee, money back guarantee. So if you go in, you pay $97 and you're like, yo, this sucks. I want my money back, Nate. You're the worst. Just ask. We'll give you your money back and you can keep the calculator. All right. But I'm sure you're going to love it. But yeah, that's where my Excel spreadsheet I showed you guys is. Let's see what else we got. A question. When you guys are paying Francisco through a servicer, he can get another loan after a year, right? But who gets the interest and depreciation deduction? That's a good question. If I understand correctly, he would still get it. He could still get it because it's in his name, correct?
No, he sold it. And so me as the buyer, I am going to get that. So the servicing company, so we use a servicing company. We pay our entire amount, the $2,000, right? Or if it's $2,150, right? And then they pay the mortgage and then they pay him. If he ever goes and gets another loan, that loan is still going to be on his credit. But because you're using a professional servicing company, the underwriter of whoever he's getting his loan with should not count that against his debt to income.
Got it. Okay.
And I've had to get on the phone with underwriters because the homeowner calls me and is like, hey, we're purchasing another house and it's on our credit still. It's like, okay, get me on the phone, not with your loan officer. The loan officer is just a sales rep. I mean, he's just a salesman. He's not the one making the decision. You got to get on the phone with the underwriter because the underwriter is the one approving the loan or not. Every single time I've gotten on the phone with the underwriter, they say, oh yeah, no, this won't go against their debt to income.
Is that the same with the land contract or contract for deed? Since like you're not even on title or anything, or is that different?
Yeah, I can't speak to that because
I know there's a little tricky.
We do it subject to, but they are a little tricky, and really you got to be on the same page with your seller. Yeah, that's a good question that I can't speak on very much.
That's fine. Yeah, I did a contract for deed once, and we were trying to like get the taxes and depreciation for it, and it was a little funky. But anyway, it really depends. You have to work with people who know what they're doing. First of all, if they don't know what a land contract or a contract for deed or any of this stuff is, you should get someone that does.
Yeah, but 100% on these sub 2 deals, you can take the depreciation and the interest right off.
Lane, I hope you don't mind me eating popcorn, man. I was just enjoying the show.
I love it.
This has been fun just to watch. You go to work, and what I'm trying to do, Lane, is when I'm not calling, I'm trying to write out the steps. So let me kind of write the steps that I saw you do on your call. So you first said, hey, did I catch you at a bad time? Are you free? You didn't just go right into, all right, Francisco, here's what I got for you. You wanted to see where he was at. And he was at a graduation, but you did a good job because you wanted for the call, you wanted to get everybody. I could see like, let's just make it live. But anyway, good job. That's how I start all my calls. Hey, did I catch you at a bad time? Are you good to go? Because you don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're at a graduation.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you could lose their attention.
100%. And we didn't really know if he was listening, but he said he was, because he said, yes, I am. So
Yeah.
we're good. The next thing is he was like, well, what's your cash offer? Like, what's your offer, man? Right. Pretty much like, can you tell me? And you said, my cash offer will be too low and I don't want to offend you. Now, if you set that expectation when they want that and you don't want to give it, I actually do that whether I can do the cash offer or not. And it's going to make sense. I always just kind of pat it and get them ready. Be like, oh, you know what? Let's explore some other options because this might not be something that will work best for you, just because that's just a good sales tactic, right? Versus just
I love to soften the blow.
Exactly. So Lane did that for us. And then you went over your sub 2 option. You did it. You explained it very well. You explained like, hey, we're going to take over your payment. I'm going to get you some money up front, and then we're going to pay it all off in 10 years. And, no pushback. And usually, guys, this is what happens when they're not getting a lot of love. They're like, hey, look, they're pretty much like, let's go. Right. I'll take it. So good job. And then you said, hey, you want to confirm your email? Let me send you a contract. You're going to have it within an hour or so. And he's like, okay, great. Now, Lane, I don't know if this is the guy that's just going to sign it immediately, or you might have to hop on one more call just to explain when he's a little bit more in a better place. But that would be where I would be. I would send it and be like, hey, let me know. Let's like review it. If you have any questions, if not, you can sign it. But that's the next step, right? You send it and then you just verify if he needs it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sub 2 contract is a little bit more extensive than just the cash offer. And so sometimes they do, questions come up. And so you got to kind of walk through it with them. And I would 100% recommend using a TC. There's independent sub 2 TCs out there that are phenomenal. They charge you about $1,000 per transaction, which I typically roll that over to the buyer that I'm wholesaling it to. But like Rochelle Jarvis, I don't know if you've heard that name before, Nathan, but I mean,
Jerry recommends her, right? You use her too?
Yeah. I actually knew her back in when she worked for a brokerage here in Arizona, and back in like 2010, she was doing REOs.
Bro, everybody's so tight knit in their AZ, man. Everybody knows each other out there.
Yeah.
That's dope. And guys, you don't have to overthink the pitch of the sub 2. It's just like, hey, look, my cash offer, I don't want to offend you. I don't think it's going to work. So I have another option that will get you closer to your asking price. And Lane, you were pretty nice about it too. You gave him you said, I can do your asking price that you have it listed for. I'm assuming other times you would even go lower than that, right? Because you're like, hey.
You can. One thing to always keep in mind, which I know I have one more call we can make, but one thing to keep in one thing to keep in mind is if the seller is setting the terms, then you should be able to set the price, right? If that seller's saying, I need to close now, I need to close quick, and I need to stay for 3 weeks after you buy it. Okay, for those terms, here's my cash price, right? But if they set the price, you set the terms. It flips, right? They're like, oh no, I want $350,000. Well, that's all it's worth. So for that, I need these terms. I can pay that, but I need these terms. So they set the price, you set the terms.
Love it. And we got a TC. What does that mean? I know what it means. Lane, what is a TC? Someone's asking.
Transaction coordinator. Once you get a deal done, then you pass it on to your transaction coordinator. They do all the paperwork. They deal with escrow. They get it all the way to closing.
I love it. Well, you said you got one more call for us. I don't see why we couldn't wrap it up with one more call. Let's see. I'll take some notes. And then, man, you've been crushing it. I was gonna say I could take a crack, but I can take a crack next week. You're on a freaking roll, bro. Let's go.
If you have one, call it.
No, I don't have a lead at the moment that I can call.
Shoot, I'll give you one of mine.
Give me your lead, dude. I'll call right now. So, guys, just so you know, Lane, he pays for.
The lady that I was going to call right now, I have already had a conversation.
Okay, that's fine. Just so, guys, if you want to know our strategies, so I used to do a lot of pay, like outbound marketing and inbound marketing, but now the way that I do it is I pretty much dispo other wholesalers' deals, and I look at agents' deals, and I have my cash buyers. So I really work the back end where I don't pay for leads. I just look for opportunities and I bring them to my buyers. That's mainly my strategy. And also I network. So one of the deals that I'm doing right now that it's potentially looking like we're going to do 90,000 on it, which is nuts. That's a big wholesale fee. I got it from a referral. So he knocks doors for a roofing company, and he met a lady who wants to sell her house. She was going to do a roof, but now needs to sell because she's getting divorced. So we're able to do, a deal from that. So that's kind of like what I focus on. They both work. It's just, you got to really focus focus in on what your strategy is, you can do well just doing straight agents. You can just directly talk to agents and network, and that's your thing. But the thing is, if you do everything, it's going to be very difficult to succeed. So if you're going to be an amazing, inbound at closing deals, get inbound leads, get cold calling leads, get leads in. If you're going to do my model, get really good with your cash buyers so you can move deals quick and you know what people want to buy. And it's a fast moving thing. But anyway, Lane, let's continue.
Okay, write this on your board, Nate.
Let's hear it. What we got.
This lead came in similar to Francisco, just so happened to be very similar. A couple, they have a house in northern Arizona here, sickness in the family, death in the family, and they had to bounce. And they thought there wasn't going to be an issue because it is a nice house, and they have it listed for $490,000, and they have already moved, so they've got two payments. It's really eating them up. They need to get out of it. And like I said, it's sitting on the market for $490,000. So they have a loan in place. Write this down, Nate. They have a loan in place for $171,000, which is a conventional loan.
170,000?
171.
171. Okay.
So then they have a home equity line behind that for $70,000.
Is that it's a HELOC, right? And that's 70,000?
Yep.
Okay.
The total monthly payment for both of those is around $1,900.
I'll say PITI, but that's also including the HELOC, correct?
Yeah, it's both of them.
HELOC. Okay, I'll just write that over here. And what was that payment?
Total's about $1,900 total. Yeah, but between the both of them.
That's not that high.
Yeah, and that includes principal, interest, taxes, insurance.
Okay, PITI plus the HELOC payment, everybody. So that's where we're at.
So all in's $1,900. The thing rents for $2,500.
Okay.
They have it listed for $490. Like I said, it's just sitting there. It's not selling. So, which tells me it's not worth $490.
Did they filled out this? It's not like you were making offers on the MLS or anything. They filled out. Nope. They filled out a lead.
They came to me.
Okay.
Yeah, they came to me.
Okay.
So you do kind of need to be. You kind of need to be a little bit careful because it is on the MLS, right? And you can't just like go around the realtor. You have to be very cautious and say, hey, you have a realtor, but you're going to have to take care of that realtor on your side, or we got to involve them and work this out. Right. You don't want a lawsuit.
What would you do in this situation, Lane, where the realtor didn't get them the buyer in this situation? They went to you.
I would either two things. I'd say cancel your listing agreement and then call me back. I can't talk to you unless you're out of contract with your realtor. Or I would say, hey, here's my offer. Is it something that you think is going to work? And they would say yes. I say, okay, let's get your realtor on the phone.
Okay, got it. All right.
You don't want to go around a realtor. They get mean.
They'll get paid.
I'm licensed. I'm not mean.
So Lane, we got about $600, and I don't want to say like cash flow because we all know like there's going to be some expenses involved. So when you look at this and you see that there's 19, you can rent out for 25. Are you immediately thinking like sub 2, or are you thinking cash deal? Like where's your mind go?
So I'm going to have a conversation. I already did throw the sub 2 out there, and they weren't really open to it. They want the loans out of their names, off their credit, and so I'm going to have the conversation with them again and give them my cash offer and see what happens.
Lane, quick question. Do you think they're probably not open to it because they have so much equity from 171 and they're thinking it's worth 490? So they want their like $200,000-$300,000 of equity. Yeah. So those are kind of tough. I don't know if you've seen that too, Lane, where it's like they have 300,000-400,000 equity. They don't want to just accept 20 or like 30. They want all of it. So then it's like, well, if I give you cash, you're going to take a huge haircut. So there's that in between. That's where the novation comes into place. But if it's already listed,
it's already listed. So novation's out.
Novation's out.
We got 3 options, right? We got a cash offer, we got sub 2, and we got novation. Novation's out. So we're either cash or sub 2.
Okay. All right. Let's give them a call, brother. This call is brought to you by Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. Just fine.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated.
All right, guys. I think we're going back to what we talked about earlier. Lane's going to hit him with the 3-piece combo. What we talked about earlier is call 3 times. They don't answer.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging.
We need like some of that wait music, bro, when you're calling. Like,
Serious.
let me see if I got something.
I knew you would.
You hear that?
Yeah. Well, it looks like it wasn't meant to be for Jody on this call.
Well, it's all good. We know you put in the work. Yeah, when we call anybody and they don't answer, we hit them with the 3-piece combo. We call 3 times if they don't answer. Then you send them a text. Lane has a CRM that automatically, when you drags them to your bucket or your stage in his Go High level, and same here, it sends them a text saying, "Hey, just called you. When's a good time to chat?" Also sends an email if you have their email. Now, then Lane will call 3 more times in 3 hours if he doesn't hear back from him. And why, we talked about this earlier, why is it so important to call these leads ASAP? Is because if they filled out a form, they are motivated, highly motivated. Plus, they probably filled out maybe 3 to 5 forms, not just one. And there are probably other people trying to get a hold of them. So we would definitely want to be quick when you're paying for leads. All right, everybody. We've actually gone over a ton today. This has been super cool, man. I appreciate this. Lane, you doing this with me, man. I hope this has been great for
Yeah,
everybody
it's a
watching.
blast.
Yeah,
Hey, I love it. I love helping people. I love solving problems. I mean, that's my main thing. I mean, like, this is a people business, right? I know that we're all in it to make money and do, but a lot of times we lose the vision. I mean, they're calling for a reason. They're in distress, and so educate yourself and really load that tool belt to be able to help in any way possible. Find a solution. Be a solution person that's why they're coming to you. They've got issues. They're in distress and they need help.
Well, Lane, we've had some people watching the whole time, and that's freaking awesome. I want to ask the audience, I want to ask everybody watching us, what are your main takeaways? I want everybody that's watching this, if you can, just type what you learned from today, what you got out of it, because for us, that's what's most important. We want you to walk away from this and be better at calling, better at negotiating, better going through deals. That's what we promised you guys at the beginning of this call, that you would see our sales process, how we go through things, and we want to know your takeaways. So go ahead, type that in, and also it really helps us to grow our channel and our stuff. If you guys, wherever you're watching this, if you just give this a like, because that's the way that social media works now. If they see people like it or they engage with a like or a heart or wherever, they're like, oh, this is good stuff. So if you guys could give us a like, we'd really appreciate it. It means a lot to us because we are trying to, get in front of more people. So anyway,
hey, Nathan, that what I love to do, right? I mean, I love to help. I am on a mission to help people because there's so many people in this business that think that, they're out to screw people. They're just out to get a phenomenal deal on a house, when really, I mean, these people are calling because they have a situation. And so let's educate ourselves and let's help these individuals the best that we can. And if there's one of those tools that you're not familiar with, Novation or Sub2 or even Cash, and you're just getting started, I love jumping on the phone with people and literally helping them with their leads. And then we just JV on it. If you want to work deals, let's work them. That's why my username on Instagram is HOV Lane.
I love it, dude.
So let's jump on in. Let's do it together.
Exactly. Me and Lane are both in this to help you guys out at the Painless Flipping Academy. You guys can check that out. We'd love to help you. We'd love to help you on these calls. Continue to come on these. Hit up Lane at his Instagram at HOV Lane. We've had some awesome stuff coming through, some things that people have learned. Miguel learned about the discovery call, how important it is when you get on that phone to find out the 4 pillars of motivation, which are, let me scroll to them because this is important, everybody. The 4 pillars of motivation are price, motivation, timeline, and condition. You want to find out what's the pain causing them to want to sell, right? So great job, Miguel. Looking forward to working with you more, brother. Pace Morby says, it's not about the house, it's about the relationship. That's true. That deal that we're doing where I told you we're potentially going to make 90. I know it sounds like a lot. It's a very high price. It's almost $1 million home. So when you deal with higher price point homes, you can make bigger assignment fees. When you deal with like $150,000 houses, to make $100,000 assignment fee, that's almost impossible because it's just the spread isn't there. So when you work with higher price point homes, you can make bigger fees. But what we're doing in this situation is one of her most biggest desires, like most important things to her, is moving. She doesn't want to move all her stuff. So what are we able to do? We're saying, hey, we're going to be able to take care of the moving for you. We're going to be able to take and by the way, I'm not picking up a U-Haul and picking it up myself. We're going to hire. I've made that mistake. I don't know if you made that mistake, Lane. If you've actually moved sellers yourself, don't do it, everybody. It's worth it just to pay a moving company. It'll take you days because you'll get there, you'll realize they haven't packed anything. Then you're not just moving, you're packing their stuff. Anyway, don't do it. So definitely very important to find the motivation. Pace is right. The note stays in the seller's name and the mortgage deed moves into the buyer's name. It really depends on the type of paperwork you do, Jen, whether it's contract for deed or it's sub 2. We could go into this pretty deep, but we'll save that. All right, Lane. Well, that's pretty much it for today. If you guys enjoyed the Wholesaling Real Estate Ring, like I said, give us a like, give us a subscribe wherever you're watching. Just give us a shout out. It means a lot to us. Lane, do you got anything you want to say before we wrap it up today?
No, I appreciate it. Hopefully it's helpful for people. I mean, I have leads coming in every single day and I'm working them every single day. And dude, let's just make it a mission to help people. Let's just help them, man. Let's load our tool belt up. Let's sharpen those tools every way possible. You know, it's not just all about a quick cash offer and make a bunch of money on one house. It's you can make a business out of it. You know, the lifeblood of a wholesale business is leads.
Yeah.
If you don't have leads, you don't have a business, you know, but we got to be able to have multiple strategies to help those leads when they come in.
No, I love it. And Lane, I have the same mission in my company, Investor Thrive. It's to help people not only succeed in their businesses, but also in their personal lives. And Lane, I want to say something that, like, for everybody, and just so you know, I see the reason why you're successful at what you do is you're not only trying to improve yourself in the business and sales game, you're trying to improve yourself in your personal life. I can just tell you care about other people. You love other people. You want to help. And that translates to success in business. Like, am I right? Like you probably do a bunch of self-development stuff outside. I think I saw on Facebook, like, you do a cold plunge. Is that like,
got one in my backyard every morning.
So that's like the stuff they don't see, Lane, that like a lot of people that they don't really see the work that goes in outside of just the business. Like, business is a mental game. So you got to be aware, you got to be alert. So you're doing things outside. So that's our goal, guys. We want to help you in your businesses, but again, we want to help you outside as well. And as long as you come to these calls, our goal and our promise is to help you guys succeed. So that's it from me, Lane.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's do it again next week. I'll have leads piled up.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. And obviously, you know where to find us if you want to chat before then. All right. See you guys. Hey, everybody. What's up? It's Nathan Payne. And for the first time ever, we just released this insane training bundle that has literally everything that I've learned from doing a combined 4,000 deals in real estate, all from starting with absolutely no previous business background experience or any real estate experience. Plus, there's over $19,000 worth of free gifts that we're throwing in, all for an insanely low price. If you want to get your hands on this, be sure to click the first link on the description below right now.